Hey everyone, Mr. Happy here, and welcome to my video overview for the PAX East Heavensward panel for Final Fantasy XIV. If my voice sounds a little bit hoarse, it's because I have done nothing but talk for the past 5 hours, and it has been awesome. So, the first 15 minutes of this presentation went over mostly old information, threw in a little bit of extra tidbits here and there, and we'll go through those. So right at the start, they just really wanted to talk about the story, specifically the Dragon Song War. Now, we've already had a huge section about this from the previous fan festivals, but what they did say is we're going to see more of the cinematic trailer that we've been seeing for Heavensward shown in patch 2.55. What I'm hoping for is you finish 2.55, bam, Heavensward trailer. Oh, that would be amazing, amazing way to end the patch 2.55 part 2, you know, the before the fall part 2. Also briefly went over a major lore point. We found this out in patch 2.5. Midgard Sommer says he has 7 children, one of which is the one who roared. We are going to have 7 evil Wyrm Kings or Wyrm Kings to fight, and that's really going to be a strong point of the Dragon Song War. I'm interested to see how they're integrated. If they're going to have anything to do with Alexander, I'd imagine not. If they're going to be maybe world bosses, or if they're going to be, you know, big raid bosses for like the 24-man raid. I don't know yet, but I'm hoping that we get epic ways to fight these 7 Wyrm Kings. I think we might actually get to fight one of them in patch 2.55. So they also showed off the areas, again, the massive new areas. They do look pretty big, I will say that. Briefly mentioned the floating continent from Final Fantasy VI is going to be making an appearance. They showed off some flying mounts, the airships, the dragon, the chocobo, the griffin. Griffin, by the way, if you haven't seen it, is one of the collector's edition mounts. It looks better in-game than it does in the little preview that they showed us a few months ago. I will say so myself. So they briefly talked about the new raid, Alexander, you know, that there's going to be 2 difficulties, we knew that. That they're also looking into a token system as opposed to, you know, just you get 2 drops per week from each turn and that's it. You know, if you beat the raid a certain number of times, you can guarantee yourself to at least get a piece of loot that you were looking for. So basically expect an improved loot system going into the Alexander raid. The new race, the ARR. Now they showed off a video that we've already seen before, but they also mentioned that there's going to be benchmark software coming out in April. And the benchmark software is basically so people can check to see if their PCs can adequately run the game. And then, not if just adequately, how well they can run the game. And it's going to have some character creation. It's going to have the ARR, so you're going to be able to explore some of the character creation options. Hopefully that sticks, because they literally spoke about these things at the same time. So we'll be able to see a little bit more with the benchmark software then. I believe you get to create a character, and then you put that character through the software itself. I think that's how the old one worked. I'd have to double check. So then we have jobs. They really didn't talk about too much here. They just reiterated that the 3 new jobs, Dark Knight, Astrologian, and Healer. But the big thing is that they revealed like 1 new tidbit of information about each. The first one is that Dark Knight will indeed be utilizing MP in order to tap into the power of darkness. Now, that to me doesn't say that they're going to be using thaumaturge spells like Fire and Blizzard. That just says to me that MP is the way that they access this power. It is just the channel through which they can utilize it. So Dark Knights are going to need MP. Please make your Dark Knight macros now. Ballad, please. Thank you. Astrologian, the healer, they mentioned they're going to have 2 stances, but that it's, to me, a lot of people obviously thought, oh, they're going to have cleric stance, but that sounds like something that's built into Astrologian. So to me, it kind of almost seems like maybe, you know how you have Eos and Selene, and, you know, those are your choices as Scholar, whether you want to be mainly healing or trying to kind of support your group by enhancing their DPS. I think maybe they'll have that same sort of way, maybe between using the cards and using the Star Globe. That's all they gave us was the 2 stances, so it's all speculation at this point. Hopefully, we have several months until the expansion comes out. We'll find out more in those coming months. And then the Machinists, the ranged DPS, we did indeed find out that the turrets are going to have multiple functions outside of strictly damage. There's going to be damaging turrets, there's going to be turrets that can debuff enemies, that buff allies, and when they re-showed the footage, something that I've been saying for several months, it looks like you just place the turret in a spot and it affects an area. It's not like a summoner pet where you command it. There might be abilities that allow you to do that. I'm not saying those won't exist, but based on the footage shown so far, that's not how it's looking like it's going to pan out to be. Now, this next part, I'm not really going to go over it. They had a whole big spiel about how they choose new jobs, and it was more of a developmental thing. People who are interested in game development kind of understand the process, the time investment. Apparently, it takes them 1 whole year in order to properly do, like, brainstorm the actions, create the animations, create job quests, cutscenes, weapons, and armor. Apparently, it takes about 1 year worth of dev time in order to do that for a single job. So, you know, we've had 3 jobs at this point. Total of 5 new jobs, really, with Scholar and Summoner since 2.0 launched. Well, 6, because then you have Ninja. So, I mean, obviously, they're working on more than 1 job at a time, but it's interesting to hear that it does take a whole year. And then the rest of this is just how it goes about it. They showed us some scrapped ideas that they had. Literally, the one for Astrologian, they had a dual disc, like a Yu-Gi-Oh! Dual disc on the side of their arm, and it looked ridiculous. Excuse me, Machinist, they also showed off some of the different attachments and images, and excuse me for my language right here. But then they, after showing us all of these amazing concepts arts, they're like, oh, by the way, this was all scrapped. So I got really angry because it looked so cool. They showed a gun that had like a bullet spread thing. You could attach like a bullet spread thing on the front to make it go from single target to AoE, a sniper scope to give you longer range. Maybe those things are still there. I don't know, but I was so angry when they said, oh, by the way, this was all scrapped. I was like, ugh. They also showed off multiple different turrets. One of the big things that they did, though, they showed off all the new armor sets for the existing jobs. Now, ignore where I say Chevalier, Krieger, Erudit, Yang, Invocateur. I didn't realize they were just literally translating the name of the job for other regions, like German. So these have absolutely no sort of represent. It's not a Chevalier set. It's the Dragoon set. The Dragoon AF2 set, as I'm calling it. So yeah, they just showed off all these. They also showed off all the Disciples of Land in Hand. I can't go through all that in this video, or we're going to be here for a very, very long time. So be sure to check it out. I'm going to include a link to the past broadcast for Final Fantasy XIV in the description of the video. You can find this. It's about halfway through, so just look from about the 35 to 45 minute mark, and you should eventually find it. Now, they did also show off the new box art for the Collector's Edition, the Standard Edition, and also they're going to have a box set, which includes the original Realm Reborn and the expansion. We kind of expected this. It's a standard for MMOs when they come out with expansions to do this. And we can officially pre-order the Collector's Edition on March 16th, the day before Type 0 launches. So if you are somebody who is looking to pre-order the Collector's Edition of Heavensward, March 16th is your day. Be ready for it. As a reminder, if you want to pre-order the physical Collector's Edition, they are saying that they're going to give us a code so that we can access the game in case we don't get the actual physical edition on time. So expect that. You know, don't be worried, oh, I don't want to pre-order the physical edition because I might not be able to get on in time. I might not get it delivered. You will be able to get on. Don't worry about that. It is also going to have early access. I'll talk about that a little bit later, but we did confirm that early access is going to be a thing. We need more details on that because they kind of like skipped around it. They were talking about pre-orders and then they just said early access question mark, but they didn't say if it was Collector's Edition only. They didn't say if you just needed to pre-order anytime at all. I'm pretty sure it's just pre-ordering the game, but we'll wait for more details on that. Just know you will get early access for pre-ordering. At least we can assume that the Collector's Edition will have the pre-order early access. They also said that they have confirmed that a Mac client is going to be coming out alongside Heavensward, thanks to Trans Gaming. They helped to bring XIV to the Mac, or 14, as I should probably call it. So there is a Mac version of the game coming out for anyone who, you know, has any use for that. So another thing, they showed off some benchmark footage, and Bismarck is big as, well, you can read my screen. It's a 9-minute long benchmark. That's the same benchmark we're going to be getting next month in April to test your computer, so I'm looking forward to that. And finally, the big news, Heavensward is releasing on June 23rd, 2015. The early access will start June 19th, 2015. Now, they said they originally wanted a May release, but they decided to take another month to polish the game and make sure it was really up to the standard that they have set for themselves. And then finally, at the end of all of that, I'm losing my breath here. I really need to take a drink of water. They showed off not really a new Heavensward trailer. It was a tour of the North. That's what the video was called. It's available on YouTube. I'll include a link to that in the description. Here you can see a few quick little tidbits. They showed off a few zones: Ishgard the Foundation, Ishgard the Pillars, the 2 different zones, you know, like Ul'dah has Steps of Knowledge, Steps of Thal. Think of it like that. They showed off the Korthus Western Highlands, they showed off the Dravanian Forelands, the Dravanian Hinterlands, the Churning Mists, the Sea of Clouds, and at the end, they show what looked like the floating continent to me. I think I saw the Warring Triad. I'm going to have to watch it again real quick, but they showed off one final zone with no sort of name. That might be a tease maybe towards something that's involved in the storyline or the new 24-man raid that's going to exist in Heavensward. But that was it. It was a lot of fun to watch. I watched it live with my viewers, and we were all reacting to the mistranslations and the jokes, and we were having fun, and it was awesome. It was a lot of fun. So hopefully you all enjoyed it. One last little thing I want to mention. A lot of monks aren't happy with the way their AF2 looks. We've known the AF2 is going to look this way for a very long time. It's also inspired from Yang, which is a prior Final Fantasy character. You should go check it out because I'm appreciative of the Yang armor because Yang's a cool guy. But anyway, thank you for watching this video. Be sure to check out the full past broadcast on Twitch's, on Final Fantasy XIV's Twitch channel. Be on the lookout for YouTube for more information coming in the coming days. New videos, lots of new stuff. I'm really excited for Heavensward. In case you couldn't tell, I really, really need to relax now. Thank you for watching, and until next time, take care.